the Orioles finally made their big move and got their ace, trading for Corbin Burnes. This is huge and exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm so happy for Orioles fans for this move. I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for the team. I'm happy for the fan base for this move specifically. But for the ownership, which we'll talk about in a second, here's the trade right here. The Orioles receive Corbin Burnes, and the Brewers are receiving DL Hall, a left-handed pitcher, Joey Ortiz, a shortstop who he's good, and the number 34 pick overall in the draft in the competitive balance. Their competitive balance pick. So their number 6 and number 7 prospect for the Orioles are on the move to the Brewers. So look, this is about the Orioles getting Corbin Burnes, in my opinion. I think this was a move that needed to be made. I have been begging the Orioles to make this move for a year and a half at this point. But what I will say is anybody that knows Mike Elias, the GM of the Orioles, should not be surprised by this move. This is what he does. Corbin Burnes specifically, that's great. But you had to know he was going to acquire an ace, and that he did. It just felt like this was the one move that the Orioles needed to make, and that's why I've been so frustrated for a year, because I'm like, this team is so good and so young and so ready to be something, but you can't win in the playoffs without a true bona fide ace, and at minimum, you need 2 studs. 3 is the recipe to win in the playoffs, and now you did. And now I think the Orioles are in a place where every single team in the league should now be worried. The Orioles are now, in my opinion, the team to beat in the American League. They have their ace. They have Bradish as a number 2. They have Grayson Rodriguez, who's a stud. I really like what they did. Mike Elias should not have surprised anybody with this move. And what I mean by that, Alex, is in 2012, Mike Elias joined the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
They were in the midst of 3 straight 100-loss seasons when that happened, okay?
Okay.
They ended up drafting, developing over the next few years, and then we have seen what the Astros become. The Orioles, from 2018 to 2021, 3 full seasons, 100 straight losses in all of those full seasons. It's the same recipe. Mike Elias joins the Orioles in 2018. He joins. He knows the blueprint for success because he just built that team in Houston that has dominated and had one of the most dominant decades for a baseball team that we have seen. And now he goes to Baltimore, takes over a team that, again, is in the midst of 100-loss seasons. And again, what's the recipe? Draft, develop, and get players to the big leagues. Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Kyle Tucker on the Astros side, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Kjerstad, Colton Cowser, Grayson Rodriguez on the Orioles. The names go on. It's identical. But then what happened with the Houston Astros? Those guys get called up. They looked like they were good. He held course until it looked like it was really time. And then in 2017, he made a trade for Justin Verlander. And that's what this is with Corbin Burnes. This is that move. This is the move saying the team is now ready. I know everybody thought they were ready before. They have that playoff experience now. The team is going to be really good. Now we're ready to have that ace come in and take over this team. And I believe that the Orioles should be the favorite in the American League because of this trade. I really do. I love this move for them. I love this move and what it signifies for the organization. They're going to be so good for so long. Now the organization just needs to hold on to their young stars. And I think we're about to talk about it. But with this new ownership, now you feel better about it. Because last year, what did we hear in the middle of that great season? Ownership saying, well, we can't afford to keep all these guys around. Now they have new ownership that's going to come in, hold on to these young stars, have the pitching to go with it, and you can dominate just as well as the Astros had for a decade or longer with this core that they have.
I mean, we know that the Orioles can be great. They won the AL East last season.
Yeah.
I think took everybody by storm with how fast they got to that point. Because what you called World Series in within 5 years, I think you made that claim at the beginning of last season. But now, okay, with the addition of their new ace, Corbin Burnes. Would you say the O's are a top 5 rotation in the American League?
Top 5 in the American League. I'll do you one better. I would say the Baltimore Orioles. I would say the Baltimore Orioles are a top 5 pitching rotation in the American League, and I would say they absolutely have the potential to be a top 5 rotation in all of baseball.
Potential.
Yeah, I would right now say top 5 in the American League.
Okay.
And I would say I won't even say potential. I would say right now from what I see, 1 through 5.
Where do you rank them?
I would say right now, potential to be higher. I would say right now they're a top 5 rotation in the game of baseball. I would. You have, and I think it's underrated. I think the other teams that you have in here, I think have those big names that everybody's aware of.
Experience, which is why they're big names.
You have the Braves.
Yeah.
So I would have the Braves as probably the number 1 rotation in baseball.
Okay.
Strider, Fried, the addition of Chris Sale I really like.
Yeah.
I'd go Mariners.
Okay.
Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. I would put them in there.
Okay.
I really like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yamamoto, Bueller, hopefully healthy and has a good season.
Okay.
Last now, I think they're in that top 5 conversation. I think the Astros, Justin, Framber, Hunter Brown, Christian Javier, Urquidy is a good 5. And I would go Orioles. I would go Orioles at 5. Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.